All right, just as the war continues in Israel, Israeli tourists are now being attacked in Egypt. Egyptian cop opens fire at an Israeli tourist. Alexandria says that 2 Israeli tourists have been shot dead. 1 Egyptian national has also died. Now, this is, of course, far-reaching effects of this war that we see in Israel happening in many of the other neighboring countries, including in Egypt. We believe that 2 Israeli tourists have been attacked in Egypt. An Egyptian cop opens fire at an Israeli tourist. 2 Israeli tourists have been shot dead. This is the latest information that we have. 1 Egyptian national also dead in this attack. Now, we're yet to understand on the reason to why this Egyptian cop has fired at the tourist. What we see here is Egypt and a few other neighboring countries are sensitive and sympathetic to Palestine. And from what we understand, we believe that 1 Egypt cop has killed 2 Israeli tourists. And the reason for it is yet to surface. We believe that it could be an act of sympathy towards Palestine. A policeman has fired randomly, we believe, at 2 Israeli tourists. And in fact, they were in a group, Israeli tour group, who were visiting Alexandria. And that's when an Egyptian cop has fired at the tourists, and 2 of the Israeli tourists were shot dead. This is amid all that spiraling violence between Israel and Palestine. Let me cut across to Emmanuel joining us. Emmanuel, neighboring countries, we understand there's far-reaching effects of this war that we see in Israel. There's been a lot of talk about who's right, who's wrong. The Palestine and Israel's fight has been on for over a century. And now with the latest attacks, we believe that it's had an effect even in Egypt with an Egyptian cop. I'm assuming this is with sympathy towards Palestine, has shot at 2 Israeli tourists, has shot dead. He's attacked a group of Israeli tourists, 2 of them have died.
Yes. The question was?
Explain to us, give us more details on that. Do we know of that the case? I know that you are in Jerusalem. You're getting information as much as we are. But if you know of any reports coming in of Israeli tourists being attacked in a neighboring country of Egypt?
Yes. Other than what was mentioned, there's no other reports. But there has been an unofficial report about 6 people actually injured as well. 2 have been dead. But other than that, we have not heard about any Palestine sympathizers attacking Israeli tourists in any other neighboring countries. But what I've heard is that the diplomats, Israeli diplomats from the embassy in Jordan, have been asked to evacuate and come back to Israel.
All right. So a warning, would you know if there's a warning given out to Israelis across the world? We know in Israel itself, they've been...
That?
Go on. Any direction or a word of advice that Israel government have given to Israelis across the globe?
Till now, there's no official announcement for any Israelis across the globe given by the government, but it has only been told to the officials of who are in the embassies of Israel in surrounding nations to be prepared for any hostility and to remain inside until the appropriate security personnel have come to escort them back to the country if the hostilities persist to higher amounts.
Right. Well, this is certainly shocking news coming to fore, as we know that the Hamas terrorists from the Gaza Strip have infiltrated into Israel, a full-fledged planned attack on Israel. You have far-reaching effects of this very war between Israel and Palestine. An Egyptian cop, in sympathy towards Palestine, has attacked a group of Israeli tourists and killed 2 of them. He's been arrested.